Good evening. My name is Dawn Adams. I'm a funeral director and embalmer with Foster Funeral and Cremation Services in Madison and Beloit. Tonight's recording is a pre-recorded uh, video due to obligations that have come up with the funeral home staff. However, if you have questions or concerns, please feel free to email us at fosterfuneralhomes with an S at outlook.com. Tonight's topic is what to do when a death has occurred and what to bring with you at the time of an arrangement conference. So a death has occurred in your family. If it's at home, your first call, should the loved one be under hospice care, is to hospice. Otherwise, it should be to 911 because an in-home death that has not been taken care of by hospice needs to be documented and taken care of by the Dane County or the county medical examiner where your loved one is. At that time also, hospice or the medical examiner will ask you if you have a funeral home that you've chosen to take care of your loved one, and at that time you give them that information. Also, you'll need to contact other family members. You'll need to contact your loved one's employer. You'll also need to contact the loved one's life insurance company. The reasons for doing that are to let the employer know that that person has passed away and will not be returning to work, find out if there's a policy through the employer and who the beneficiary is. Also, calling the life insurance policy allows you to and the family to start a claim to take care of all funeral expenses. So now that that has occurred and you've made the necessary calls, your next call should be from the funeral director. Once the funeral home has been contacted, they'll be calling you to set up a time where you and 2 or 3 of you may be able to come in, sit with the funeral director, and make all the necessary arrangements that you'd like for your loved one, be it cremation or funeral service followed by a burial, whatever the choice is. At that time that has been set aside for you and your family and the funeral director, it's most helpful if there are only about 2 or 3 of you, people for moral support as well as to hear other things and take notes that sometimes when you're grieving you miss. So it's good to have a couple of people with you to help get all of the information necessary. If you have with you, please bring the decedent's birth certificate, any type of pre-arrangement information that they may have written down, any type of revocable trust information where they have had money set aside for funeral costs, any type of information regarding who the legal next of kin is. And if you need help with that, the funeral director is more than happy and willing and has the information to give you so you can figure out who is the legal next of kin to make those decisions. Please note that power of attorney does end at the time of death. So when you bring that paperwork, what you'll be doing with the funeral director, you'll be sitting down, you'll discuss what you'd like to have happen for your loved one, how you'd like their memory and their legacy to go on, how you want to honor whatever their wishes are. You'll need to have all these paperwork and be prepared to sign documents. With Foster Funeral Home, you need to be able to sign paperwork that gives us permission to have your loved one in our care and custody, permission to embalm should that be your choice, and you will also be filling out what's called a Wisconsin Death Certificate worksheet. That information is used to notify the state of Wisconsin of the passing of your loved one, as well as notify Social Security of the passing as well. That information is also used to generate death certificates should you need to obtain death certificates. Your first decision will be, will you be cremating or will there be a burial? Sometimes finances dictate that decision, but sometimes it is truly family or decedent choice. Noting that whatever you choose, the funeral director should be able to help you make the best decision and help you carry out your decision. In choosing products, you'll have a line of caskets to choose from. You'll have a short line of caskets for a rental to do a full service funeral followed by cremation. And you'll also have a choice of urns and cremation jewelry to choose from. If your loved one had ever been in the military, please bring any discharge information that you may have, be it a letter from the military or the actual discharge paperwork, which is also called the DD-214. In making plans for the funeral, if there's to be a service, the location of where you will hold the service, please have that information. The funeral home would be more than happy to contact that church or facility to assist them with you in planning the service. If the service is to be at the funeral home, our chaplain on staff will also sit and help us make sure those arrangements are carried out as well. Things you would need to be prepared to supply also, or be ready to gather shortly after the conference, would be who is to do the service for your loved one, whether or not there will be remarks at the service, what musical selections and should there be the need for musicians, and whether or not there will also be a repast, where and when that will occur. Those are things that will be needed at that time of the conference or shortly thereafter. It's important to put those in place. It's also a good idea if you have it ready ahead of time, as if you've pre-planned. Sometimes pre-planning and putting it together, knowing what you're going to want for a service, is most helpful. Our job here at the funeral home is to make sure that your wishes are carried out with decency and respect and integrity. We want your loved one's homegoing to be one of a positive remembrance at the worst time of your life. And our job is to assist you with that from beginning to end. Know that when we contact clergy, we have your best interest at heart. If you have clergy in particular that you would like for us to contact, we'd be more than happy to reach out to them as well. That is the purpose of our chaplain service. They are more than willing to help facilitate and put you in touch with the correct clergy or facility to handle your service. In choosing a traditional burial, there are several cemeteries. Please have an idea as to which cemetery you'd like to go to, as we do have the necessary cost, beginning cost of what it could start charging to bury your loved one. Cemetery charges are completely separate from the funeral home, and every cemetery has their own charges and their requirements. So having an idea, we can at least put that in place. If it's during the time of day where the cemetery is open, we'll be more than happy to call them, to check with them to see about space, availability, time, and exact cost in case costs have changed from the last time we've connected with them. Note, with a burial, a grave box, a vault of some kind is necessary. So we just can go over all of that in terms of cost and what would be better suited for you and your family. Also, should you choose to do a headstone, know that that is not something you have to do right away, but we can also assist you with that. In the event you are doing a cremation, either a direct cremation or a service followed by cremation, we have several urns for you to choose from, connections for cremation jewelry to put ashes of your loved ones in. Also note that you do not have to rush to buy an urn. At any time, we can place your loved one's cremated remains into the proper urn of your choice. It just makes sense to buy one when you've picked out exactly what you want, instead of rushing to purchase one ahead of schedule and it's not really what you want. So you do have time to make that decision. And once you take your cremated remains with you, if you find what you want 6 months down the line, you're more than welcome to bring that urn and your loved one back, and we'll be more than happy to place them in the urn for you. Please note that our services here are to help. This is our ministry. It is used to help and assist at the most vulnerable time in your life. Losing a loved one is very hard to do, and it is even harder to plan a service because it's just the worst time. But we're going to help you get through it. That is our goal here at Foster Funeral and Cremation Services. So please, if you have questions or concerns, again, please email us at fosterfuneralhomes@outlook.com. And if you'd like to leave us a message on the phone for us to get back to you, the phone number here is 608-661-3678. Again, if you would like to go over any of the information that I've provided for you and at great detail, please go to our website, fosterfuneralhomes.com. The tab at the top on funeral planning, click that tab. On the left side, going down, there's a section that says why plan, and it gives you the information of what to do when you have had a death occur and what steps need to be taken after that death has occurred. Please note that sometimes when your loved one has to go to the medical examiner's office, there may be an autopsy. Not all autopsies mean that your loved one can't be viewed. So that is something also for you and the family to decide upon as to what you would like to have happen at that point. Again, I'd like to thank you for having been supportive of Foster Funeral and Cremation Services from its beginning. And though it is a hard time in your life, we look forward to continuing to serve our community to the best of our ability, with integrity, with compassion, and with love. And know that we'll always keep you in prayer. Know that you are able to always reach out to us if there is something that we can further assist you with. We'll be more than happy to do so, or to put you in place with someone that can. Again, thank you so much for coming in to Foster Funeral and Cremation Services home and spending an evening with us.